let's get on with the show. I'm just super excited, okay? Because I have known Perry Zhang for over 3 years. He's always everywhere I am. I thought he lived in Dallas because
Yep.
I always see him in Dallas. He's always coming to our conferences. He's always everywhere. He's a great guy. So Perry Zhang is the founder and CEO of Cashflow Portal, a modern real estate syndication software. He was an engineering manager at Lyft for 5.5 years. And he worked as a software engineer at Twitter. He's probably thanking God he's not there anymore, and Amazon. Probably thanking God he's not there either. Perry is also a lead sponsor in 1,020 doors in apartment units. And he's also raised $20 million for real estate projects and generated 30% plus annualized returns for investors. His assets are in DFW. However, he lives in Seattle. So it is my great pleasure for you guys all to meet my friend, Perry Zhang with Cashflow Portal. Thank you, Perry. Welcome
Thanks.
to Zoom at 8.
I appreciate it. Julie, this is amazing. Such high energy. I'm in awe. Yeah.
Well, hey, Perry, I don't get out much. This is all my friends and family. I just love what I do. Seriously.
No, this is great. I will do a quick intro and then I will show off the product. I want to make this super interactive. I want you folks to ask me any questions you like. A little bit of my background. I worked at different tech companies. I bought a few single families and I started syndicating in 2019. In fact, Alan Alina invested in my first deal. And back then I'm still part of this mentorship group. And then little did I know, a few years later, I decided to combine my two passions, technology and real estate, into something I do. I spend 99.9% of my time on my startup, which has about 30 people right now in terms of employees, 650 clients, tens of thousands of LPs. We grew about 20x last year, which is a lot of work and a lot of high momentum and traction. My journey is basically, I saw the inefficiencies in capital raising. On my very first deal is 70 investors. We did everything through DocuSign. And so I was countersigning myself. I was checking the verification myself. I was putting those on the spreadsheet myself. And then the second deal, we use a large syndication software. The third deal, I use my own portal for the raise. And my LPs were like, oh, whatever you're using this time, I like it better than last time. So I quit my job, and that's how I got started the whole company. We are part of a Silicon Valley incubator program called Y Combinator, which is, I think, probably the most astounding fact. Some of the companies that graduate from YC include DoorDash, Instacart, Airbnb, Stripe, Coinbase, you name it. And the acceptance rate is like 1.7, 1.8%. So we are very proud of that. I think it's a testament to 3 characteristics of our company, which I'll go into the demo. But customers often say that we are customer centric or customer obsessed. I think a lot of the people here, I see Trevor here, I see Alan here, I see a lot of folks here. And Brandon, thank you. We're very customer centric. We are very engineering and product minded. So when we hear things from the customer, we try to change it right away. We try to take the feedback, we incorporate it. So what ends up happening is a product that makes sense, a product that thinks like a GP, because I am a GP. So with that being said, let me go ahead and share my screen. So I'm going to break this part again into 3 sections, and feel free to stop me anytime, and I will pause here and there for ask for questions. So the first part is going to be about how do you set up your custom portal so you can put that web link on your website. The second part is about the equity raising process. How does a LP's experience look like? The third part is all the logistics, waterfalls, distributions, K1s, emails, you name it. And then how do you invite your sponsors so that they can have their custom portals? How do you work as a co-sponsor on other people's deals? There are like 20 different things that go with the investor portal. I may not get through all of them, but please ask me questions so I can get to the ones that you are interested in.
So let me just ask to make sure that everybody understands. This goes alongside your CRM.
That's correct. We have a CRM actually. So as a company, we actually have to solve for both cases, which I will go into a second. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So the first thing we do is we provide a custom portal that's white label with your logo in your background image on it. Okay. And so you can put this link on the upper right-hand corner of your own website. And so your LPs will basically stumble upon your website, enter it, and then they will land on the Cashflow Portal CRM. Once they land on your CRM, we have integrations that connects with HubSpot natively and more than 5,000 plus apps, such as MailChimp, HubSpot, and ActiveCampaign. So if you use your own CRM, our CRM connects to your CRM. But if you want to use our CRM, you can just head over to contacts. They will show up on the CRM, and then you can add them tags. You can add whatever tags you want, and then you can actually email them. So we have our CRM. In fact, we're the only portal at this point that has a very fancy CRM. You can actually drag and drop stuff. We're the only investor portal that has a drag and drop text editor, which is really awesome. So our goal is to make this CRM as good as, say, MailChimp. So you don't have to use MailChimp if you don't want to. Okay.
Automations as well in your CRM as well as on the portal.
Yes, that's right. Now let me log out and then let me take this custom link. So this is the link on your website. When your investor comes here, they see your logo, they see your background image, and they can create an account. Let me do Perry plus Julie at cashflowportal.com. And then they verify their email address. So your LP gets an email like this, confirm your email, go ahead and verify it. Once the LP verifies it, they say, do you want to join this portal? Sure, I'll join this portal. If you want to ask them some custom questions, you can do that. When they land on your portal, they will see your new investment opportunities. So I have a evergreen multifamily fund asset 1 and asset 2 available. They can also view your track record. So you can say your affiliation, your insights, any photos you want to upload, your about, investment opportunities, any videos you have, any podcasts you appear on, any track record that you may have. All right. So you put this link on your website. Once they enter your investor portal, they can see both your open investment opportunities and your track record. And at this point, they land on your CRM. But this is the LP experience, right? So LP basically sees this. If they invest in your deals, they can actually export the entire SREO. That's very nice as well. All right, so here is the LP. So let me actually log out and then let me log back in as the GP. All right, so this is right now I'm back in the GP view. So in the GP view, if I go to contacts, I will see that Perry Julie J show up here, which is really nice. And then now if I integrate with HubSpot, if I go in here, you can see that Julie J show up here, which is awesome. So this was 5:33 Pacific time. If I go in here and let's say Julie January, I'm gonna change the name. If I change the name and I go back to my HubSpot, this name should change as well. So as you can see, we have our own CRM, but if you have your own CRM like ActiveCampaign and HubSpot, we integrate between the two. The idea is to have a single source. Now, I mentioned we'll go at the end, like what's our pricing and whatnot, but everything I have shown up to this point is free. For example, creating a custom portal is free. Integrating with HubSpot is free. Integrating through Zapier, you have to pay Zapier, yes, but with us, it's free. CRM is free. We allow up to 500 emails at a time. That's free. You can have almost unlimited contacts. That's free. So, you can send emails as well for free. The reason we believe is that once the contacts are in your CRM on the CFP Cashflow Portal CRM, you're more likely to use us when you are raising equity. So we do it also for that reason. Now, we really believe, like at this point, everything I show is $0. If you are interested, we also provide a lot of value to our GPs. So if you want to check out all the events that are coming up, literally for the next 12 months, we scrape the internet and then we find every single event out there. If I go to lender, there we go.
Number one. You did.
There we go. No, I use OCapital for my first deal as well. So there's that. So everything I just showed is free of charge. Ria Tobin asks, can your portal integrate the customized CRM? Is the backend, so it's not one of the standalone CRMs? So that's a great question. If you go into settings and integrations, and then if I go to the bottom, this might be a good place for you to type in your CRM's name. If you could find it there, then it does integrate. So this is the Zapier, okay? All right, so that's before you get a deal. So then the question is, once you get a deal, what do you do? Well, there are a couple of things going on. One is, I can elaborate this a little bit more. If you have team members on your syndication, such as inviting co-sponsors and whatnot, it works really well. The idea is you can be a co-sponsor on some deals and lead sponsor on other deals, but you only have one account. You're not joining another GP's portal. You always have your own portal, your own logo, your own custom domain, etc. It just happens that this account is a co-sponsor on this deal. And being a co-sponsor, you have certain permissions. If you are a lead sponsor, you have other permissions. So you almost never need to log out of your own portal because that's the only email address that you need.
Let's just review that for 1 minute, because there are some other folks that do this, folks meaning other companies that do this type of silo, if you will, and that co-sponsor doesn't have an account. You bring it in under the GP's account.
The GP's account, yeah.
Okay, so in this case for cash flow, they would be all under the co-sponsors' accounts, and the GP would not see the co-sponsors' accounts?
Great question. So let's talk about permissioning and think like a GP. So what's supposed to happen? And that's basically what we do. The lead GP can see all the documents because they need to countersign last. That's fair. The co-sponsor has the ability to say, do not let other sponsors see my investors' email addresses right here. Show my investors' email address in this deal's investor list. And then you can show it, you can don't show it. If you don't show it, then even the lead sponsor cannot see the email address of the co-sponsors LPs. By definition, the co-GPs LPs are not visible to other GPs except for the lead sponsor. But the email address, even in that case, can be hidden. I know that was a lot of information there.
That's very good. That's a big deal, everybody.
Right? Gets even better. So when you have a deal and you have this monthly updates, what happens is the lead GP or the team staff will prepare, the asset manager will prepare the monthly update. And so what's happening right now is everyone just create one and they're like, here's my MailChimp template, here's my HubSpot template, go translate it to yourself, to your LPs. In Casual Portal, there is a setting called personal settings. Require my review of bulk emails sent to my investors in this deal. It's no by default, but if you turn it on, what happens is that the lead sponsor will send out an email to everyone on the deal. And just say, send to all the investors on this deal. And then the co-sponsor will have a draft on their inbox saying that, hey, this email requires your review. Reviewed it, and then you can send it out to your own LPs. The co-sponsor will probably put their own logo on it. They will put their own interpretation and so on it. And so then the co-sponsor can do that. Now, you might ask, Perry, you just said the lead sponsor doesn't know the email addresses of the co-GP's investors. Then how can they send the emails? Well, the magic here is you can send emails through the platform without knowing their email addresses. All the lead sponsor is saying, send email to everyone on this deal. But I don't know their email address. Just send emails to the people, investors on this deal. And so that's what's happening. I know that was also quite a bit of nuance. Let me pause there for questions.
I have a question on that. Does that mean that it bypasses and that the sponsor is sending the email, or the co-sponsor still has to hit send on the emails to go?
Great question. By default, it's sent directly from the lead GP. But the co-sponsor can turn on the flag to say, I want to review this email before it's sent to my LPs. So co-sponsor has either way, it can do it either way.
So the co-sponsor is the one that raises the hand that says no?
Yes.
Excellent. Heidi?
Heidi?
Guys, this is so new to me, so I'm so thankful that I made it here. So I'm confused. So we have the GPs, we have the LPs, and why can they communicate with one another and how their emails? I thought it was a team and everybody knows everyone is cozy and we have relations and we love each other. But now they cannot see their emails?
Yeah,
Like,
great question. Let me explain the most concise way possible. And so in a syndication, there is a lead GP, and then there are the co-GPs. The co-GPs, they do a little bit of asset management, but they are primarily raising equity. And their basically secret sauce is the LPs that they have. Usually it's a handshake. It's a very based on integrity. It's signing some documents saying that, hey, once you raise the money, the lead GP should not be sending marketing emails to my LPs. And so that's why it's important that any investor portal doesn't make it easy for the lead GP to just download a list of all their investors and then start sending them future deals. That's the crux. We are the most co-GP friendly investor portal out there. And by definition, it's the most friendly GP investor portal. And I know that problem because I'm a GP. I've seen it. We still shake hands. Everything is still based on trust. But it's important that the software doesn't make it easy to abandon trust, to abuse trust, either intentionally or unintentionally.
And I have another question. If I'm raising capital and I'm going to get my passive investors, I need to have my own portal or my website or my own account, and they send the money to me, and then I send it somehow in the portal of the GPs. How does that work?
Usually when the LP wires the money, they wire to the operating account that this asset is underneath. So we still wire the money to the property's bank account.
If you had a fund, it would go to your account.
Right.
But if you are working as a co-GP, it would go directly to the GP's account. And everybody says, you know, these are my customers. Don't let anyone steal my customers. And Perry's done this brilliantly. The other portals, I wouldn't say are doing this as brilliantly. Perry recognizes that, hey, these are my customers, and he wants to keep them to you. He doesn't want to give these emails to the GP. He recognizes that that's very important to you. But the software allows the GPs to send out emails to yours if you decide that's what you want.
Yeah.
But it also says, wait, you can't do that. I need to have approval.
Yeah, that's a really good summary. That's exactly right. It's all those little things. All right, cool.
Thank you.
We're having fun. So let's go into the LP experience. So when you are raising a deal, all you need to do is send out this offering link, which can be in our CRM or MailChimp or through your text message. It's just the link that's important. The LP will click on this link, and it's got the GP's logo. It's got the offering information, some projections. It's got the debt financing. If the GP doesn't put this information, this section wouldn't show. If the GP doesn't put down their fees and terms, this section wouldn't show. So it's highly customizable. And then the GP will put down their summary. At the bottom, there will be market details and documents. So the LP gets this. Also, there's the webinar recording if they want to watch it. The LP can look at this and be like, okay, they can actually look at from their phone. A lot of LPs actually invest through the phone because we are mobile responsive. It's viewable on mobile. Not an app, but on the website using your phone. Now, as a LP, how do they invest? They click on Invest Now, which will take them into the investment funnel. As you can see here, I'm still on the GP account, but now I'm actually go back to LP view. So a key difference here, if you are a GP, when you try to invest in your own deal, you might notice you have to log out of your current portal and then log back in with a different email. The fact that I came from the tech world means that's not efficient. In Airbnb, you are switching between hosting and traveling. You never have to log out and then log back in with a different email address because you want to travel. You have a single email address that you can participate in multiple deals. And that email address also happens to be able to invest in your own deal without ever logging out. As a LP, what can I do? I can invest as an individual, IRA, joint tenancy, or LLC. That's very standard. So let me choose the hardest version, the LLC. Okay, so Julie LLC. Right, click on add this profile, select the class I want to invest in, click on next. So right now, I can say I want to invest, say, $50,000. Okay. And then over here, I can fund this investment through a wire transfer, or I can actually connect with my bank directly on the portal through ACH. We actually support this as well. So at this point, $50,000, that's great. So they are ready to sign documents. we digitize the investor questionnaire. And this is probably our customers' favorite feature. Right here, all the entity name, the personal name can be saved to the database. So when they go through your investment the second time, they can retrieve the previous information about themselves. If this is a 506B deal, we ask them for accreditation, self-accreditation. If this is 506C, then we will have parallel markets integration. And so at this point, they will fill this out. Even better, we digitize the W-9 form. So at this point, you can classify as, say, not many people use S Corp, but let's use S Corp for this demo, S Corp. Okay, so they will add the W-9 form. Right, so click on here and then sign up. What it's doing in the background is taking this digitalized information that you put in and overlaid it on top of the legal document. The effect of that is the LP only has to type in the address once instead of 5 times on the document. And so let me sign. So insert everywhere. So on the next page, you will see this is Julie LLC. This is my $50,000, and this is 50. 50 is actually 50 units. We set it to be $1,000 per unit. This is my EIN. That's my Social Security. And bingo, here is my W-9 form, digitalized, automatically filled out. S stands for corporation, S corporation. It's an LLC. This is my EIN. Why is this important? A lot of the LPs get tripped up because when they invest as a LLC, depending on if they are a sole proprietorship versus a regular LLC, if they are sole proprietorship, they actually fill out the Social Security number. If they are a LLC, they fill out the EIN number. But if the GP try to set this document up themselves, then they have to make either both Social Security and EIN optional, or they make it both required. Either way, LP gets confused. Which one do I fill out at this point? I will also pause here and say, when you are raising equity, you can just give us the legal documents once you get it from the attorney, and we will put the signature blocks and all the fields on top of it for you. We believe that's the most important thing you can do, because if the documents were not set up correctly, the LPs have all kinds of problems. So as you can see, I talk a lot in this process, but technically they could have gone through this entire investment in like less than 2 minutes because everything has been pre-saved. So now I land on the investor portal. I will pause here for questions.
I'm going to make a statement. That is the biggest problem and the biggest hang up is this paperwork. Perry, that is amazing that you will take the documents and set it up. That's huge. No company's doing that. Amazing.
So then what else can the LP do? The LP can share this investment, basically track this investment with their loved ones, and they can go to the profile and they can put in their bank account information to get distributions. So they can put in their bank account, they can put their address. Okay. One thing to note is that their cash flow portal account, which is also your cash flow portal account, has an investing view. When I am on a specific GP's custom portal, I only see that GP's dues. But the login is the same login that I use for another custom portal. So what that means is that if at the end of the year, I want to fetch all my K1s, suppose I invest with 5 GPs that all use Cash Flow Portal, I go to a single website, Cash Flow Portal, to fetch all the 5 K1s I have. Okay, you don't have to log into 5 different websites to get your K1s. And then because it's a single website, or right now I'm in Sigma, so I can only see Sigma deals. But if you have more than one investment with different GPs, in the upper right-hand corner, there's a button called Switch to Journal Portal, and then you can see all deals. In this case, the SREO, we actually digitalize the SREO. So I can export this thing, and I can export this whole thing into a spreadsheet. And then
Okay, so let's unpack that for everybody. So schedule of real estate owned. So what are you trying to show everybody in this?
Yeah. So schedule of real estate is needed if you want to become a GP in the future. And that is basically your real estate resume. And it looks like this. Let me open this up. It's like this. So it contains the property name, how much investor, occupancy rate, outstanding loan, NOI, DSCR, your ownership percentage, and then your pro rata cash flow. And this is important for the lender to know if you have too much debt or too much delinquency and so on your multifamily holdings. Normally, how people do this is that they keep a separate spreadsheet. When they are trying to get a loan with Fannie Mae or Freddie Mac, they will go to every single investor portal, and then they will find the percentage and then ask the GP for, hey, what is your NOI right now? And so I can take the pro rata version of that. And that process usually takes about 2 or 3 weeks, depending on the GP's responsiveness. The way we GP can do it on Cashflow Portal is that they can go to the deal and then they can update this SREO information digitally, and then the LP will get the pro rata version of that total amount. So that part is taken care of. For some people, they say not everyone, uses Cashflow Portal. What happens if my GP doesn't use Cashflow Portal? Well, first you should try to convince them to try out Cashflow Portal, or if you're the LP, you can technically add this information yourself from scratch. So basically, this replaces the spreadsheet. And once they move to Cashflow Portal, then you can delete your manual information and let that update automatically.
Okay, so I want to go back and I want to make sure I understand that. So what you're saying is somebody could, as a limited partner, we have a lot of limited partners in the house. They could come to your site, put in their information, or they could set
Yes.
up an account and start to feed their information in here.
Yes.
And,
could treat this
you
as a
could get
spreadsheet.
hey guys.
Yeah.
For that one piece, this would be the reason why you should get an account with Perry. To put an SREO is extremely difficult.
Yeah.
This is amazing. Perry, I didn't know about that. That is amazing.
Yeah, some customers actually walk up to me. They're like, Perry, this SREO thing is a game changer.
So can you go back to the sample of it?
Yeah, right here.
Okay, so everybody, he has a bunch of these. This is not how everybody's looks.
Well, I don't
This
have
is
this
because
much
these are
holdings.
all samples that
That's
he's
right.
run for different, okay? You're gonna have 3 or 4.
Yeah, that's right.
What is it? K Trevor, he's got probably 40 of them on here, right? But everybody else is gonna have 4, 5, 10 of them.
Yeah.
So that
right.
is super important. That is awesome, Perry. I love it. All right,
Yeah.
keep going.
So as a GP, the Julie LLC came in with a $50,000 investment with status 1 out of 2 sign. So you can look at it in a list view. You can look at it in a Kanban view. As a GP, I can go ahead and countersign this investment. Right, so I will countersign, and then over here, countersign. That's great. Then I will send them wire instructions. So over here, with a click of a button, wire instructions sent. And then with another click of a button, I can say the wire has been received. So now this is the logistics as a GP. A lot of times the LP may have made a mistake of, I type in my social security, I type in my phone number wrong. You can add a addendum directly on the portal as well. So let me show you how that works. So I click on add addendum, that put up the O signing. So this is Julie LLC. Now suppose that I want to change this email address, this phone number. And so let me just cross out the previous phone number. And then I will put the text box next to it, a new text box. And then I'm going to put the initials next to it like that. Okay. And bingo, that's my addendum. Now, the alternative is that you download the document, send it for a manual addendum, and then you upload it back on the portal. In here, you can do it in less than 10 seconds. Yeah. So that's probably our customer's second favorite feature, which is, trust me, when you're raising money, addendums are inevitable.
I do have a question for you. What we saw on our deal is that some people were just saying, okay, just go ahead and send in your money. They were not validating the paperwork.
Yeah.
And I've never been involved in something like that. And all of the ones that I've been involved in, you do not get everything, everything's got to go in a sequence, right? And then you send your money.
Yeah.
And then at the end, everything is organized. Well, that didn't happen. It just send in your money.
Right.
So at the end of the day, 3 months later, we've got some issues with the paperwork. You're not an accredited investor. We took your money. So I'm curious, need to name any names and point any fingers. How often does that happen, that you've done a nice job of doing that? I like that visual that kind of takes you along that path.
Yeah.
How often does it where they're jumping from one all the way to the end and you get money?
Yeah, good question. Because the buttons only show the next step, we almost force, like, what is software? I think Steve Jobs mentioned that software is basically a bicycle. It allows you to go faster. When they were doing this competition of who is the fastest animal in the world, humans were like in the bottom 25%, cheetah is like number 1 or whatever. But then someone has this amazing idea. What if it's a human on a bicycle? That turned out to be faster than a cheetah. And that's what technology is. It's a bicycle. It lets you go faster. And so part of what technology needs to do is to nudge the users in the right direction. You cannot go from 1 to N, the last step, without going through verifying that this person the questionnaire is correct, and then you countersign, and then you send wire instructions. So the buttons don't always show up and you don't know which button to click. You only click on the next step. So it will alleviate it. And that's why when you say, we found out the documents were not, our customers haven't experienced that as much. What our customers have experienced is that some parts of the PPM change. Like their loan amount is slightly different, the waterfall is slightly different. In that case, there's nothing we could do. So what we do is we added addendum to all the LPs, and then we mass send it through the portal for the LPs to sign.
That makes sense. Okay.
Yeah, great question.
Tim has a question. Does the platform integrate with other platforms if I want to participate as a co-GP using my existing account, basically where GP uses a different platform for their
great
deal?
question. Let's talk about this philosophical point. If you co-GP, you have 2 options. The first option is I'm going to go with whatever my lead GP uses. The pro of that is I don't have any work to do because they add me to their account. The con of that is sometimes my LPs don't even know which portal they invest what. So my LPs get frustrated at K1 time and they ask me, hey, what's the URL again? And then second is there's always a chance that the lead GP didn't respect the contact information and then start marketing, right? The third one is your LP doesn't really know where to go to get information. That's option 1, which is you just go with the flow. Option 2 is a lot of the co-GPs basically just use Casual Portal. In that case, you can use any portal to say, for all my deals, regardless of what my lead GP uses, I'm going to use Casual Portal. It's a similar reason that I use, say, ActiveCampaign. And regardless what CRM that my co-GP or lead GP uses, I'm going to use ActiveCampaign. So yeah, it sucks if my lead GP uses MailChimp. I have to translate everything into ActiveCampaign when I'm sending out emails. But what the pro of that is your LPs know exactly where to go to get your information. Now, you might also say, well, then how does the wiring money work? If you're doing a regular syndication, they usually wire to the main bank account. When it's time to do distributions, you can create a separate holding bank account such that the lead GP wires your portion of the money to your bank account, and then you wire or you ACH from your portion to your LPs. That way, your LPs are completely isolated. Nobody knows your LPs. That requires more work. That requires a little bit more discipline, and especially during the time in which you set out the deal. We pride ourselves by saying we put your documents and we put the signature blocks. So honestly, it's not that much work. It takes less than 15 minutes to set up the deal and let the offering fly. So that's what I would suggest for a co-GP. You could take either option. I have seen more and more people realize that I have my own investor portal. Regardless what my lead GP does, I'm going to stick with this one portal. Yeah.
Perry, I'm impressed. Thank you. Gosh, that's awesome.
Right. Now you could say, what if there's a world in which all the portals will open up their information, open API, access, blah, blah. Every portal, we have tremendous respect for everyone. There's a reason that LinkedIn, Facebook, and Twitter do not open up their API to each other. It's just because that's the business economics. I also want to show something in terms of class structure. So this is how a class structure works. We have this ability to visualize complex waterfalls. So in this case, we are saying that this is a 8% preferred return, cash and cash prefer. After that, it's a 70-30 split until a 15% IRR. And after that, it's a 50-50 split. That's important because when it's time to do your distributions, you can just click and say, I want to distribute this amount, and we will calculate the waterfall. Distribution consists of two parts. The first part is the calculation of money. The second part is the transfer of money. So we do both. For calculation, we have a waterfall calculator, or you can upload your custom spreadsheet with everyone's distributions. And then so that's landed. And then finally, for transfer of money, all you have to do is click on pay all and then click on send ACH payment. And then I will say proceed. And if I click on pay now, this actually will take $13,000 from my real bank account and then pay these LPs. So in 3 clicks, you are able to pay your investors. Let me pause there again.
What used to take hours is now 3 clicks.
Yes, that's right. So let me type here, all the deals someone has in cash will show up in one screen regardless of the sponsorship team. Great question. When the GP has a custom portal, you put the custom portal link in. So this is the link right here. When your LP lands on your custom portal link, so this will be your company name, .cashflowportal.com. We also actually have a version that's your truly white label, like investors.yourcompanyname.com, that doesn't even have the Cashflow Portal logo on it. So that's like the enterprise version. And we have customers anywhere from $1 million raise all the way to a $200 million equity under management. And so when they land on your custom portal, they only see your deals. They don't see anything. If they can switch to the journal portal, only has the investments in which they invested in. If they haven't invested in that investment, they are nowhere to be found. So the trick though is they don't have to create a new account to invest in another deal. They just use their Cashflow Portal account, which is a single account to invest in deal. And actually, anecdotally, people like, oh, we are part of a lot of mentorship groups. So we are the preferred vendor for Brad Sumrock, Rockcliffe, Michael Blanc. I think we are one of the 2 preferred vendors for Race Masters. And we are the preferred vendor for Vertical Street Ventures. Basically, we are the preferred vendor for 80% of the mentorship groups at this point. And then because the students there, coaches use it, anecdotally, people have told me that, oh, I'm seeing this deal, but since I'm already logged in and I can click on invest now, and that takes me to the investment funnel, I don't have to create an account to invest. It makes me want to invest a little bit more. Like I'm tempted to invest because it's a good deal. And so I hope that will be the case for you as well. Now, how do you find us? So the best way to find us is, so you can take a screenshot of this one. So that's how you can touch with us. All right. I think that's pretty much it. Any questions?
Any questions before we jump into tonight's breakout session?
Perry, I just signed up from the Warrior event. I just signed up to do the demo. So with that, by the end of that demo, I'll be able to have the login information to set that up, or is that a separate call?
Great question. So absolutely, at the end, you should be able to all set up and go. The technical answer is that if you go to the homepage, you can just get started. It's free. We actually do not gate anyone. So you can get started, you get your CRM free, you get your custom portal, you get your integration. You can check out all the events, you can check out all the vendors, give a lot of value upfront.
Ellen and Elena.
Hey, thanks. Did I hear that right? So we have basically 3 portals for our investors because of some other GPs and such. We can merge them all into yours, even though they're with 2 of them are in other portals.
You can just schedule a call with us and we'll do the migration process for you. So yeah, you can do that. Now, when you are a co-sponsor on someone else's deal, the co-sponsor doesn't pay for the deal, right? Because it's the pricing is based on the lead sponsor's account. When you want to be responsible for your portion of the raise, say you raise 2 million and the total raise is like 10 million, you are responsible for that $2 million that you want to migrate out of someone else's portal. Because you're technically, in our book, you're the lead sponsor for that 2 million that you raise, if that makes sense. So
Okay, gladly.
Very good
I'll
point.
have to look up all there.
This
Sure.
is hard for us and our investors. So
Yeah.
thank you.
that's correct.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, that's great. Great. Well, Perry, first of all, thank you for joining us tonight. Your product is amazing. And once again, the reason why it is such an amazing product is because you're in this community.
Yeah.
You're doing syndication and you understand it. There are other companies out there who are writing software but are not in this community. So I think the value that you bring to this software is just amazing. I think that you're one up on that for so many of our investors. Thank you so much. I appreciate it.